it's kind of like a shortcut for Onshape, so that if you had something that you wanted laser cut, but you want to be able to change the material from acrylic to, let's say, wood, or wood to acrylic, you're going to want to do something called creating a variable. So to create a variable, you're going to click on the little X. X always represents like the first variable that you've ever tried to find ever in math. So once you click on the X, this little table will pop up, or this little dialog will pop up. That dialog is where you put your variables. So I'm going to call this thickness. And I wanted to make it a number. And the number is going to be 0.125. Oops, oh, sorry, 0.125. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark. Now, when I create my laser cut box, so I'm going to go ahead and show you I'll go over how to create a box again. We're going to create a new sketch. Actually, I don't want to be on that plane. We're going to create a new sketch on the bottom plane or top plane. I'm going to create a rectangle, a center point rectangle. I'm just going to go ahead and make this box 5 by 5. I'm going to go ahead and finish the sketch. Then I'm going to extrude this box, make it 5 by 5 by 5, just to make it nice and easy for us. Oops. Extrude 5, and then click the check mark. All right, so now I have my box made. I'm going to go ahead and do my thickening. Now, this is where the variables come into play. So I have my shortcut set up, so thickening is one of the options. I hit S and my shortcuts pop up. So I'm going to click on the sides that I want to thicken. Remember, I changed the direction. And then instead of thickness typing 0.125, I'm going to type thickness. Notice how as soon as I type TH, thickness pops up. Okay. I want it to be new. And then I'm going to click the check mark. Show you what that does in just a moment. I'm going to repeat this process. So I'm going to go, oops, I don't want to extrude. Repeat this process for these two sides. I'm going to type thickness. I'm going to make it new. I'm going to change the directions to make sure that they overlap. And then finally, I'm going to do the bottom. Do the same thing. Thicken the bottom. Type thickness. Sets to 0.125. Change the direction and new. And then I'm going to click the check mark. Now, a really good, we'll go ahead and delete this. Maybe I should put on my new glasses. I can see. Delete. So I'm going to delete that part. So once I have that part deleted, now a really good engineer will go ahead and name each of the parts. This is the front. Trust me, it makes it a lot easier when you try to find stuff. This is the back. This is the left. This is the left. This is the left. This must be the right. And this must be the bottom. Take a little bit of time to do it now. That way you don't have to do it later. All right, now I have all my parts made. Now, actually, I'm going to put a partition in the middle. So I'm going to make a wall right here. Okay, so I'm going to hide all the other parts except for this one right here. And now I'm going to go ahead and do a sketch on the surface. And I want this sketch. I'm going to do oops, it's the wrong kind of rectangle. I do a corner rectangle. I want it to touch the top, and I want it to touch the bottom. And now I want this variable at the top. I want that measurement at the top be equal to the thickness. Actually, let's go ahead and dimension it. Let's go ahead and dimension this from here to here. I want it to be equal to the thickness at 0.125. All right. And that's fine. I'm going to make it off-centered. All right. Now, I'm going to extrude that sketch that I just made. I'm going to go ahead and call it the partition. And I want it to be, I'm going to take all of my other stuff and bring it back. So there's my front and my back. And I want it to be new. And I want it to go up to face. Up to face. I'm going to select this face. So it goes all the way up to that face. If I wanted to do a second in position, I click second in position. I change from blind to up to face. And I change it and I make up to this face. So now that it goes between both faces. Okay. Click the check mark. Let's unhide everything. Let's rename part 6 partition. Okay. So I have it all named. Now I can go ahead and make sure that it's all intersecting. I can do my laser joint. I'm going to do automatic. 3 pins, adaptive pin sizing, nothing else selected. I'm going to go ahead and highlight everything and it will automatically do my laser joints. So here's a box. It's a mediocre box because the bottom is kind of like stuck to the bottom. I should have raised it up a little bit. Now, why did I show you variables? Well, because sometimes the thickness is not 0.125. And then rather than going in and changing every time you type 0.125, all you have to do is edit this variable and change it to, let's say this thickness is 0.2. Click the check mark, and it will fix our sketch and make the thickness greater automatically. Okay? Let's say the thickness is 1. That's pretty thick. Let's say it's 1. Oh, that doesn't even work. Let's make it 0.5. 0.5. See? Automatically changes it for you. Okay? So it's using a variable is very useful for when you have to change materials. We're not always going to be using wood. Sometimes we'll use acrylic. And acrylic is slightly thicker than the wood is. Okay? Now, when we get ready to turn this in, there's a couple of things that you need to do. You need to go ahead and show the mass properties. So we're going to go ahead and click on mass properties. We're going to highlight this. Doesn't matter the material. We want to look at the surface area, and we want to make sure that the surface area is set to the surface area that I told you guys. All right. And then the other thing is you have to lay it out. So we're going to go over to this auto layout. We're going to select auto layout. The thickness of the material is not too important, but we're going to go ahead and put thickness for my variable. The width is 24. The height is 12. And all of my parts should fit within one 12 by 24 inch page. If you want to see what the page looks like, you go over here, edit, you go show cut sheets. Now, let's say Onshape is it's AI that's doing this, right? It's an automatic feature, and it's not smart, right? It's only as smart as you make it. Let's say you have other parts that are showing on a different page, but you think that you can arrange these parts so that they all fit together on one page. You can lay them out yourself in a drawing page. So I'll show you how to do that in just 1 second. But once you have this done, you know that it fits within your drawing page. You're going to go ahead and create a drawing page. Create a new drawing page. We're going to do a custom template. We're going to change the size to standard to ISO, size to A0. We're going to turn off the border. So we don't want to include the border. We do not want to include the title block. We're going to go ahead and click OK. Once we have this done, I actually want to change my sheet size. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and insert a part. So I want to make sure that I'm in my, not Part Studios. I want to be in my, that's the other one. Wrong Part Studio. Part Studio 3. Is that it? Oh, Part Studio 2. Part Studio 3. Version 1. That's not it. Let's look and see what Part Studio 3. Go back to my drawing, click on Insert, Part Studio 3. We're going to click on where it says Part Studios, and then we can select our auto layout. It's not the front, it's going to be the top. I want to make sure that it's 1-to-1. This is important. Make sure that it's 1-to-1. If you don't make sure it's 1-to-1, it's going to cut it really tiny. and I place it on the page. I click escape. Now I'm going to adjust my page size just to make sure. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust my page size by clicking on the sheet, then go to properties. I'm going to change my properties from size A0 to custom, and then I can go ahead and type 24 inches and 12 inches. So then I can actually see the page size, and then I can move this onto here. Okay. So once I have that done, I can go ahead and click the check mark, and this is how we submit. We submit this as a PDF. So go ahead and rename your drawing. Rename Mr. J Laser Cut Organizer. Make sure that my name's on it. It's not just drawing page 1. I go ahead and right click and export. It's already says named as a PDF. I go ahead and export it, and that's what I'm going to turn in. Now, if you want to place your parts individually by yourself, one more thing before I move on to that. Notice that they're not in color. Do not make them in color. They should be outlines only. Everything that's an outline is going to get cut. Okay, so if you don't know, now you know. All right. One more thing. Now, if we want to place individual parts, we can do that as well. So we go over here to insert. I'm in my part studio. I open up my part studio 3, and I can place individual parts. This needs to be the top. I believe it's the top. Okay. And if you place individual parts, you can move them around and get them as close together as possible. As close together as you can. Okay, so that's part studio 3. I want to do the back. I'm going to insert part studio 3. And I'll continue this for each of the parts until I have all my parts placed. All right. Now, I've been looking at some of your designs, and I've been seeing something like this. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I have a box, and I have a wall like this. And I'm going to go ahead and show you. I'll see 2 walls that are added together. I'll see something like this. What's wrong with that? Well, what's wrong with that is that where there's a line, it's going to get cut. This can be 1 sheet of wood, couldn't it? So if I want to make it 1 sheet of wood, I should make it 1 sheet of wood. And the way you can do that without having to go back and change everything is to do a Boolean. So go to Boolean. Evangelina. Go to Boolean. Union. Click on the 2 parts you want to join together. And make sure keep the tools is turned off. And then click the check mark. And now it's all one piece. Okay? Any questions? All right. I'm going to post this video on the classroom.